I'm Maren and welcome back to my channel, Maren Makes It.
Today I want to go over my costs when I'm dyeing my own hair at home, and I want to compare this to how much it would cost me going to the salon. I think when you guys see how much these savings really do add up to be, you might consider doing this at home yourself. I couldn't help myself. I made a spreadsheet of the products used to try and determine the total cost of materials for doing this yourself. The main products I used are the Balayage Developer, Balayage Powder, Color Activating Lotion, and Color Charm Demi-Permanent Color Tubes. You also really need a hair dye brush, but other than that, most of the materials you probably already have at your house. You can use any old Tupperware or container as a mixing bowl as long as it's not metal, because that will react with the dyes. You can also use any materials at home to cover your workspace area. So really the only material you need other than the products is the hair dye brush. I went on Sally Beauty's website, which is where I originally bought all of these products, and I looked up the cost for each of them individually. I then multiplied this number by the number of times I've bought each of the products over the last year. When I add up these total costs, I get $90.79 as my total for all products over the course of a year. I can then divide this number by 5, which is the number of times I've done this myself, and I get $18.16 as my cost per each time dyeing my own hair. That number is probably even a little bit higher than it could be because some of the products I have only purchased once and still haven't used up even after 4 times doing this. Okay, now let's break down the hair salon costs. So this part was a little bit harder for me to research because obviously depending on where you live in the country, this cost is going to vary a lot. Also, the amount of hair that you have and the expertise of the stylist that you're going to are all going to make a big difference here in how much you're going to be paying. But for long hair, I found that on the low end, pretty much everywhere, I couldn't find anything under $100 for a balayage service. And then your price could go up into the $300 range if you are in an expensive big city, but most likely you're going to be somewhere in that $150 to $200 range, and that about checks out compared to what I used to pay when I was getting my hair dyed professionally. So now we're going to multiply each of these costs by the number of times that I've done my hair myself so that we can compare it directly to the number that we calculated for the at-home do-it-yourself version. So when I do this, we end up with $600 for $120, we end up with $1,200 for $240, and we end up with $1,800 for $360. So that means your total cost over 5 times of getting your hair done could be anywhere between $600 and up to $1,800 when you include tip for a balayage on long hair. So now let's compare these salon totals to our at-home total, which was $90.79. This leaves us with between $509 in savings and $1,709 in savings. You can really see how when you live in a more expensive area, this really starts to add up over time. 5 salon visits could be the number of times somebody goes in a year, depending on how far apart you like to have your visits. But if you're really trying to maintain your hair color, that could easily be 1 year of salon visits. So it's crazy to think about the fact that you could save $1,700 in a year by doing this yourself instead of going to the salon 5 times.
As always, I want to just encourage you guys too to think about what beauty routines you might be going to the salon for that you could actually be doing at home. You are so much more capable of doing things like this yourself than you give yourself credit for. Most of the time it comes down to doing some research and then also time and practice. Nobody's born knowing how to color hair. That is a skill that people learn over time. So it's something that you could learn too, and especially if you're on a budget, this could be a huge way to save you some money. $20-something per product per time doing this is a lot less than what I'd be paying if I went to the salon. At the salon, getting a balayage done in hair this long would easily cost me $200. So when you compare 20 to 200, it might be worth my time to figure out how to do this myself at home. So these are just some questions to help you guys get thinking about if this is worth it for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more content of mine, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.